is with Louis Theroux.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'd love to see this guy in a ring, actually, because he has a very mellifluous, gentle way of kind of poking people interviews. I reckon he's got a fantastic jab on him, and probably a heavy dig to the body. Yes, it's Louis Theroux. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Gareth?
I'm good. It's becoming a regular thing seeing you at boxing. What's going on?
Well, I'm friendly with JJ, aka KSI, and through him, he introduced me to Misfits. So I went to a Misfits night at the O2 last year, and I've come to this one. And going back years, I've followed boxing, not closely, but with a sort of friendly acquaintance. And there's something very primal about it. And I you know, back in the day, I did a documentary profile of Chris Eubank, and you know, it's storytelling. You know, in its essence, isn't it?
It's very dramatic. It's theatre. Like you were just saying, you were celebrating that fight between Slim and Tom Zanetti just then. You saw everything about people's spirits and their hearts and whether they have it in them in front of millions of people that follow them to show that they can dig deep. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and it was reminding me of a great boxing film, Raging Bull, and Sugar Ray Leonard and Jake LaMotta. You had Slim, who seemed to have the superior skills, maybe less physically intimidating, and then you had Tom, who was taking punch after punch, but wasn't backing down and
fired up on adrenaline.
Yeah, and absolutely, and pure muscle, and not allowing himself to be beaten or cowed into submission. It was a very primal drama.
Your son, I believe, is here with you tonight, and he's got you into KSI, JJ, Deji, all those guys. Would you like to see him box? Is it something you'd like? I mean, what's he, in his mid-teens, or you know, would you like to see him box? Would it worry you?
Like I know, Gareth, you follow boxing, and with boxing, there's tragedy mixed with the drama, isn't there? And you know, for every success story, there's people who have fallen by the wayside. I'd be very happy for I've got 3 boys. I'd be very happy to see them box, but I also know that it would be an extremely emotional experience. And as a dad, you know, seeing your child in a fight is about as up. You know, I'd rather see myself in a fight in a weird way. Like that protective paternal instinct is so deep. So yeah, if he wanted to do it, I would support him 100%. But I know that it would be with very mixed emotions.
I spent some time with KSI before this event and did an interview with him on the other side of the year last year. You spent a lot of time around him. It's out there that you're doing a documentary on him. How fascinating is this young guy? Because last time I interviewed him, we spent 3 minutes talking about boxing and the other 27 minutes about the creative, and we're all creatives, the creative side of his life. Is boxing a massive part of his life now?
Well, I think with JJ, what you see is someone who's relentlessly driven to succeed. And his boxing is a side effect of that very, very basic, almost all-consuming passion he has to dominate everything.
There's no choice. There's no choice if you cannot play boxing, as we say. You can play console games, you can play up music, you cannot play boxing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's his. You know, he's a YouTuber. He's someone who, from the age of 13, has grown up dominating YouTube and then came to boxing through that. But I think what you see is the relentless passion and drive he has. And if you've seen him in the ring or if you've seen him train, it's almost frightening how much commitment he has. And, you know, I enjoy seeing him in the ring, and at the same time, it's almost slightly terrifying seeing that.
It's almost an obsession, isn't it?
How much commitment he has to it.
Listen, it's lovely to have you in our milieu as well, and I've got to apologise for throwing the head kick at you earlier in the VIP lounge.
Oh, listen, that was a wild kick. It came nowhere near my head, and I was more worried about you putting out your hips.
Back to you, Jim.